You meet someone new today, maybe at work, maybe on the street, maybe just a face in a crowd, and before they say a single word, your brain has already decided something about them. Trustworthy or not, safe or not, friend or threat. This happens in under a tenth of a second, faster than you can blink, faster than you can think. And the strange part is, you have no idea it's happening at all. You assume you're a careful judge of character. You assume you weigh the evidence. You watch how someone speaks, how they treat a waiter, how they answer a hard question, and then you form an opinion. That feels true. It feels rational. But it's not what actually happens inside your skull. Psychologist Alexander Todorov at Princeton spent years studying exactly this moment, the split second before judgment becomes conscious. In his experiments, he showed people photographs of unfamiliar faces for just 100 milliseconds. Barely enough time to register a shape, let alone a personality. And yet, in that sliver of time, participants confidently rated each face as trustworthy or untrustworthy, competent or incompetent, dominant or weak. Giving them more time to look didn't change the ratings much at all. The verdict was already in. Why would your brain be built this way? Why would it rush to judge a stranger before it has any real information? The answer isn't about fairness. It was never about fairness. It's about survival. For most of human history, meeting a stranger was not a small event. It was not a coworker at a new job or a face in an airport terminal. A stranger out on the open savanna or at the edge of an unfamiliar camp could be many things. A trading partner, a potential mate, or a genuine threat with a weapon in hand. Your ancestors who paused too long to gather more evidence sometimes didn't survive long enough to reproduce. The ones who made a fast read and acted on it did. So evolution didn't build you a courtroom, it built you a tripwire. Your amygdala, the almond-shaped structure buried deep in your brain, is the alarm system behind this. It processes facial information before your conscious mind even catches up. Long before your prefrontal cortex, the part of you responsible for reasoning and nuance, gets a chance to weigh in, your amygdala has already tagged the face in front of you as safe or dangerous. That tag colors everything that follows. It shapes your tone of voice. It shapes whether you smile first or wait. It shapes whether you trust their explanation or quietly doubt it. Here's where it gets stranger. This ancient tripwire wasn't built for the world you actually live in. Your ancestors evolved in small bands, rarely more than 150 people, where a stranger's face carried real, immediate stakes. You now live in cities of millions, scroll past thousands of unfamiliar faces on a screen every week, and interact with more new people in a single month than your ancestors might have met in a lifetime. The tripwire that once protected a hunter-gatherer band is now firing constantly on job interviewers, on dating app profiles, on the new hire in the next cubicle. It wasn't designed for volume, it was designed for scarcity, and this snap judgment doesn't stay quiet in your head. It leaks out into the world and changes outcomes. Researcher Nalini Ambady, working with colleague Robert Rosenthal, ran a now-famous set of studies on what she called thin slicing, the mind's ability to find patterns in a narrow window of experience. In one striking version of this work, participants watched silent video clips of college professors teaching, each clip lasting only a few seconds. Just faces, gestures, posture, no sound, no content, no context. Based on that alone, participants rated each professor's effectiveness. Those ratings, formed in seconds from strangers who had never sat in the class, closely matched the evaluations given by actual students who had sat through an entire semester. Read that again. A few silent seconds predicted a semester's worth of judgment. This means the snap read, "Your brain makes about a stranger isn't just a private, harmless flicker of intuition. It's often the invisible handshaping who gets hired, who gets believed, who gets a second chance, and who doesn't." Think about the modern job interview. A hiring manager forms an impression of a candidate within the first few seconds of eye contact, before a single question about experience has even been asked. The rest of the 30-minute interview often just becomes an unconscious search for evidence to confirm that first-second verdict. Psychologists call this confirmation bias, and it means the interview isn't really testing the candidate. It's testing whether the candidate can overturn a decision your amygdala already made. You do this to everyone, every single day. The barista, the new neighbor, the stranger on the subway who sits across from you. Your brain runs the same ancient tripwire test, tagging each of them in a fraction of a second, long before you've gathered anything you'd actually call evidence. Here's the twist that makes this even stranger. The features your brain reads as trustworthy have almost nothing to do with actual trustworthiness. Todorov's later research found that faces judged as trustworthy tend to share specific structural traits like wider eyes, softer curves, and expressions that resemble a slight relaxed smile. Faces judged as untrustworthy tend to have more angular features and a downward set to the brow. These traits are largely genetic and structural. A person born with a naturally serious resting face has no more chance of being dishonest than someone born with a naturally soft one. Your brain isn't reading character, it's reading geometry, and then convincing you it read character, which means the stranger effect isn't really about the stranger at all. It's about you running a survival algorithm that was optimized for a world of spears and small tribes, now applied to a world of resumes and group chats and dating apps. So what do you do with this? You can't switch the tripwire off. It's wired too deep, built by hundreds of thousands of years of selection pressure that had nothing to do with fairness and everything to do with staying alive. But you can learn to notice it firing. You can catch that instant reaction, the tightening in your chest, the immediate sense of ease or unease, and treat it as information about your own ancient wiring rather than a verified fact about the person standing in front of you. The next time you meet someone new and you feel that instant pull toward trust or suspicion, pause on it for 1 extra second. Ask yourself a simple question. Is this a read on who they actually are, or is this a 100,000-year-old alarm system doing exactly what it was built to do? Tonight, you'll meet someone new again, whether online, at work, or just passing on the street. And once again, before they say a single word, your brain will have already made up its mind. The verdict will feel instant, it will feel certain, and it will be running on code written for a world that no longer exists.